had rare skills like ball skills. The next 2 years, it looked like he could not play the ball at all. So this is the polarizing part about him. Then he goes to the pro day and he works out and he looks like a top 10 pick as well. But the draft always gets exciting and interesting. There's always those sort of picks, and this is definitely the one here. But if Derek Stingley is the guy, and this is where you interview these guys and bring them into your building and put all your resources and energy into saying what type of person and player are we going to get out of this guy, that's really the onus on your scouting staff and your coaches to say, okay, we feel comfortable with the 2019 Stingley. We can get that guy back, and whatever happened these last 2 years, we're just an anomaly.
Awesome to see the celebration from Stingley and his family. Gang Green on the clock.
Still got nobody to rush the passer.
So the pick is in. I love this first round, man. They are hustling through. These teams not messing around in Las Vegas. And we have seen 3 defensive players now off the board. Started with Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson, Derek Stingley. That's the draft room for the Jets. First time since 1992, the first 3 picks are defensive players. By the way, in that draft, the first offensive player was Desmond Howard. But Mark, you made a really good point. We could see a couple more defensive players off the board here.
Well, the Jets, we were talking about the Jets, they need edge rush as well, and they need a corner as well. So you could see, I think for sure they might go defense here, either Sauce Gardner or Johnson, Jermaine Johnson. I think you could see either one of those guys go right here. And then the Giants, they need the edge as well. We know they need offensive line, but they need edge as well. So we might go 5 straight with defense. But specifically about the Jets, I think they're either way they go. If they go Johnson, Thibodeau also is still out there in the mix. So between Thibodeau, Johnson, and Sauce, I think this would be the pick for the Jets here.
You know, Mark, for those who don't know, you're a Jersey resident. I'm from New Jersey. We have these East Coast ties, and not to say that the league is good when the New York teams are thriving, but there's something weird about the Jets and the Giants having the lack of success over the last couple of years. This is an opportunity to get right real quick.
Well, it's not weird for the Jets. They're always they got to take a shot as a Giants guy. But yes, the Giants, we got the 4 Super Bowl trophies. Yeah. They contributed to. It's just they're one of the standard bearers in the NFL, the New York Giants. And yes, the biggest media market in the world. If for both of the teams to be down, it will be, we need to get them back on top, especially my old Giants.
Yeah, 4 and 10, the Jets are picking here. So some options. It's interesting, and not to get ahead on the Giants pick, something tells me if Jets go defense here, you could see one of these offensive linemen also go for the Giants, because that's a need as well.
Well, how about Long? We've been talking about Icky could have been the first pick, or Evan Neal, and now these guys are at least at 4. So the Jets specifically, I think if they go with either Sauce or Johnson, I think that would be an excellent pick for one, and then come back at 10 and address either one of their needs. As we've talked about, edge rush is fairly deep, but they could go a lot of different directions. Much like we talked about Houston, the Jets can fill a lot of holes. They have a lot of needs, DN, they need a linebacker, they need corner, so they could go a lot of different directions and help this team with these 2 picks. at 4 and 10.
Saw enough mocks that had Sauce Gardner going in this selection. We'll find out with Roger Goodell.
With the 4th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Sauce Gardner, defensive back, Cincinnati.
So Sauce Gardner is the pick. I wasn't tipping the pick because I didn't know. I was religiously reading the mocks on NFL.com, and I felt like most of them had Gardner going there. And this is perfect because this fits in with a massive need that they have.
A huge need. If you look at their corner group, no disrespect to any of them, but they needed this bad, and they get the best corner in the draft, in my opinion, at 4, and this is their best case scenario for them. The corner position is deep and the edge position is deep. So the Jets, even though they don't get their edge here, they can go back at 10 and get the edge. But just talking about Sauce, he's got length. The guy's competitive, really good ball skills. The guy's good against the run. So this is a complete. Yeah, I jog into the room. Never seen that before. Guys usually slow walking through the slope. Your home run trot.
He went the wrong direction. He's got so much bling, and
that's not good.
He's holding some of that ice down, and he's sort of flashing that 40 time, which is real fast at a 4.41.
Yeah,
in Indianapolis.
And also you got foreshadowing. The last person we saw, Deion with the bling on. Sauce is the new Deion with this bling like that. So looking good, Sauce.
Here's the tweet from Richard Sherman. Some props here. Cincinnati, I know people have talked about the lack of regular sustained competition at a very high level. This is a team that won a ton of games. Gardner did not give up, and I know everyone has heard this stat a million times, but it bears repeating because it is so darn impressive. Didn't give up a touchdown in coverage.
Yeah, well, when I scouted players, I always started with the best competition. So, he's played Alabama, he's played big time competition, and then if you don't play the best, do you dominate? And that's how I scouted players, and he dominated when the people you couldn't choose the receivers he went up against, but the ones that he did go up against, he dominated. And then when he played the best competition, he also dominated in that game. So even though Sauce Gardner played in that division, he dominated what he did. And then when you just look at his individual skills and the whole body of work during the season, during the combine, he really proved his worth as a top 5 cornerback.
Woody Johnson welcoming in the new defensive back to the team. You're going to love it in New York. And yeah, look, as a guy that used to live there myself, there's a lot to like here. The winters might be a little bit rougher than what we're dealing with on the West Coast. But the point is, Sauce Gardner, one of those guys who's got an opportunity to thrive in the Big Apple.
Yeah, and we always looked at players also, Mike. It's interesting you mentioned the Big Apple. There is something, too, that the guys are players that could handle being in New York. It's not like being in Jacksonville or Cincinnati, smaller cities. You have to be able to have a certain mentality and be able to say, you know what, I got to go to the office and do my work. I got to go practice and do my work, as opposed to I'm out in the city and doing those things because it's enticing. So it seems as if Sauce has all those elements of I can handle the spotlight, I can handle the big city, and also still be a great